new day in Lagos, and you're welcome to Inside Lagos. I'm Adedoja Salam Adeni. This week, we are beaming our searchlight on the Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, LASEPA, which was established to protect and improve the environment in the state. Thank you for joining us. Environmental health promotes human well-being as well as enhances safe living in the communities. It is an integral part of public health system used for formulation of policies to reduce toxic chemicals and waste in the environment, such as air, water, and soil. For human health and prosperity to be guaranteed, certain factors such as clean air, safe water, healthy food, decent accommodation, and favorable climate must be considered. The Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is not taking this with kid's gloves. Hence, he made health and environment the second pillar in his theme's agenda.
To the benefits of the great people of Lagos State and to the greater benefit of mankind, I commissioned this operation.
The State Ministry of the Environment and Water Resources, under the leadership of a lawyer, political scientist, renowned journalist, and environmentalist, Tunji Bello, has recorded tremendous achievements in the past 4 years.
The vision of Mr. Governor to turn Lagos State to a land of opportunities, offering all residents is a chance to succeed in their environment, locations, endeavors, and now formed with families and friends in a peaceful atmosphere is now a reality.
The Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, LASEPA, is an agency under the ministry established on the 1st of November 1996 through the State Environment Management Protection Law of 2017. LASEPA has been protecting and improving the environment.
What do we want? Clean air. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Clean air.
The agency is doing this by assisting public and private organizations, industries, businesses, and non-governmental organizations to achieve compliance through provision of environment-friendly solutions to various environmental challenges. As an implementing agency of the state policies on the environment, LASEPA works with other relevant stakeholders as well as national and international bodies on the environment.
Trees beautify our environment. Trees provide us with oxygen. Trees provide us with vitamins such as fruits. Trees also shed us when rain falls.
One of the zonal offices of the Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, LASEPA. This is their Lekki zonal office. Now, LASEPA's mission is to safeguard environmental quality that is consistent with the social and economic needs of the state in order to protect health, welfare, property, and quality of life. And I must tell you that I am curious to know how all of this work. Joining me now is a public health physician and the MD CEO, Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, Dr. Dolapo Fashawe. Good to see you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're welcome to Inside Lagos. So, yeah, I've read a lot about you, from air pollution to soil, water. You have a lot on your desk.
We realized that we needed to be closer to the people and to the grassroots. And with the help of the Ministry of Environment and my commissioner, Mr. Tunji Bello, we went from 4 zonal offices to 20 zonal offices in 4 years. And that is not our end game. We intend to be in every local government in Lagos State.
Good. So let's go in and see what you've got inside. So I really want to know how you respond to people, how they come here to lodge complaint, and how they're being attended to.
The zonal offices are like a mini headquarters in different local governments. And our motto in LASEPA is practice what you preach. The quality of our health is directly proportional to the quality of our environment. We are also fighting global warming and climate change. The cheapest and easiest way to combat greenhouse gases is by having green area. And these plants are not just for decorative purposes. It helps absorb the emissions coming from traffic, from manufacturers in the air. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, this is where you receive your clients. One of them I can see. So what goes on here? How do you relate with them?
So the essence of having a zonal office is we have different channels of complaints. We not only take complaints, the complaints are sent from a central system where we disseminate to the affected zones. And at times, people who are not literate, who cannot go online, we encourage them to walk into the zonal office. And the beauty of that is if we're near them and there's pollution, they can bring it here. We have enforcers who can also go with them. So we receive complaints regarding air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, and especially noise pollution. And at times, people even come here for things down related to environmental protection. We tend to guide them as to which agency to go to, and we do our best to support them. Lekki Zonal Office is one of the busiest of my zonal offices, and the reason is not far-fetched. Noise pollution. Most of the entertainment and big nightclubs are around Lekki, Ikoyi, VI. We work 24 hours because there's something called a sound permit. If you are going to have an event that would exceed the allowable decibels, we give you a permit. The Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency has a laboratory. There's something called Environment Laboratory. And I'm glad to say that we're the first and only government-owned international standard organization, ISO certified lab in the whole country.
From the LASEPA zonal office in Lekki, we moved to Alausa in Ikeja, where the headquarters of the agency is located. Dr. Fashawe took me on a journey from the operations of our agency.
I think taking you there and you seeing by yourself is easier than explaining what the lab does.
All right. You came on board in 2019. So from 2019 to 2023, can you tell us the journey so far and what you've been able to achieve as LASEPA MD?
So, as you know, I'm a public health physician, and there's a very strong nexus between health and environment. And this became even more obvious during Corona. I came on board just before the Corona epidemic. And that helped me understand that we have to change the narrative of environmental protection. We had focused more on enforcement, curbing noise pollution, dealing with issues that people come and report. But being a public health expert, I realized that advocacy, information, education, and not only education, communication. We decided to go on a big advocacy drive. What does pollution mean? How does it affect you? How does it affect your immediate environment? How does it affect your health? And how does it affect the planet as a whole? We realized that we tend to talk at people and not get feedback. So we decided that this time we would get feedback. So what we have done differently is we are more prevention oriented now instead of punitive oriented. And we go into communities, have town hall meetings, we ask for their challenges, we educate them. Some of the natural disasters we've had has been due to global warming and climate change. At times, extreme temperatures, non-stop rainfall. And this is caused by anthropogenic activities. What do I mean by anthropogenic activities? The built environment, man-made activities. When you go and build on a drainage channel and water has nowhere to go, it would go black, it would flow back, and we start to have floods.
Industrial activities and vehicular emissions are the two biggest sources of air pollution in Lagos State. I asked her what LASEPA is doing to control these.
In developed economies and nations, they have standards of what you're allowed to emit into the air, either from your car or from your heavy-duty machinery or from your generator. Open burning of waste is against the law in Lagos State. You cannot, saying I don't know about the law is not an excuse to break the law. Section 127 of Lagos State laws, subsection 9, the Environmental Protection Agency's law, states that it is an offense for you to use an amplifier to propagate your religious beliefs, advertise your goods in a public space. And we took that on. We first let people know. I like the garage part, and I like to commend people who have done well. Building Motor Park in Ojota. We went there for an advocacy program to tell them the effect of noise pollution. And we not only did that, we collaborated with the health sector and took people with us to do hearing tests. It will shock you that 40% of the people we tested had a form of hearing loss or the other.
From your findings, concerning noise pollution and hearing loss, that about 40% of people have issues with their ears, and 27% was due to actually noise pollution. Then I begin to ask myself that, have you ever taken that to schools, secondary schools, school advocacy program? How far have you gone on that?
So thank you for that very good question. We have a program called Noiseless Lagos in LASEPA. And our target audience really is the young ones. And that is why we have a very, very strong school program. The Ministry of Environment has a project called Environmental Bees, where we have over 4,000 pupils of public schools and even private schools in Lagos being members of this club. And what do we do in this club? We teach them about global warming and climate change. We teach them about the effects of air, land, and water pollution. We teach them about plastic pollution and how the role they have to play. Because the whole essence of what we're doing is to keep this environment sane. I must commend Governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, because putting transport first, health and environment second, it's a good mix, because the transport sector is the largest polluter in terms of noise, emissions. Most of our cars are older than 15 years. The sulfur content in our petrol with a not serviced car does not do good for the environment. And I will also commend the transport sector, because we have VIO. And in this agency, they do measure your emissions before they renew your certificate. So our relationship in the environment space with the governor is a very strong one. From 2019 to now, he has gradually increased our budget. There's limited resources competing demands. People would advocate for roads, for schools, but he has paid consistent and sustainable attention to health and especially environment.
Aside compliance with regulations, the job of LASEPA as the regulatory body for the environment in Lagos also entails monitoring and enforcement, laboratory services, analysis research, as well as data management.
You're welcome to Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency. Good afternoon. This is the main building.
In this office is the first international standard organization, ISO certified laboratory, the first of its kind in Nigeria, with a certification number ISO 9001-2015. Louis Grigogri Adeyemi is the Director of Laboratory Services at LASEPA.
We have to wear ward coats, lab coats, before going into the lab. So you would have to wear one. Access is also restricted because of contamination of samples, and only people who walk in here are allowed through this access. Your samples are dropped through another access. We can help you with that.
Thank you.
Yes. And please wipe your feet. Can we have access, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Because we restrict entrance to accredited staff only.
There are 7 laboratories here. They are the Portable Water Lab, Land and Soil Lab, Air and Noise Lab, Microbiology Lab, Wastewater Lab, Sensitive Lab, and Toxicology Lab. The Portable Water Laboratory is the unit where the portability of water samples from all parts of the state are tested. At the Land and Soil Laboratory, LASEPA ensures that the soil is protected against pollution for agriculture purposes. The Air and Noise Laboratory is responsible for monitoring and measurement of the quality of air that citizens are exposed to in order to guide against spread of airborne diseases. The Microbiology Laboratory is used for specialized service of analyzing the microbial load samples in line with set standards. The Wastewater Laboratory is saddled the task of ensuring that process of wastewater from industrial facilities in the state are treated to acceptable standard in line with best practices. At the Sensitive Laboratory, LASEPA ensures that the concentration of trace, heavy or sensitive elements are within acceptable limits. The Toxicology Laboratory is entrusted with identifying concentration of toxin in wastewater generated by industries in order to guide against industrial pollution that can affect water bodies.
In the air lab, we are also able to measure decibels of noise. What we do with air is we collect air samples in canisters and we bring it in here to analyze what the content of the air is. If it's within acceptable limits and if it's safe for the people in the environment.
To find out what the air contains, particularly particulates. These are things that we cannot see with our eyes. They're taken in micrometers. They can do as low as 1 micrometer, 2.5 micrometer, and 10 micrometer. 10 micrometer will go into your lungs and you may be lucky and you might expel it. But 2.5 and 1 micrometer are more lethal because they can go as far as your bloodstream And as they go there, they become lethal as you accumulate them, and they cause so many
So what part of
things.
Lagos have you taken this to
We
do
have-
experiment?
We did it.
Can you face
We
the
did
camera?
all the year monitoring for like 1 year, over 14 months
Okay.
in 6 different areas in Lagos.
Like?
Ikorodu, Abeson, the housing the biggest housing estate in Abeson, Unilag, Jankara in Lagos Island, NCF in Lagos,
And
then
LASEPA.
LASEPA here.
Dr. Fashawe, this should go a long way in helping the Ministry of Physical Planning to curb the issue of
So,
building collapse in
that
Lagos
is
State.
why-
You can go to the extent of checking soils across the state.
And that's a very good question. Part of the processes of getting an approval to put a structure anywhere is to have an EIA certified by LASEPA before they proceed in getting the approval. So we work closely together, and that is what this lab has afforded us. We have seen places where they want to put a 6-story building, and from our soil sample, we see in layman's language that the soil is wet. It percolates water. It cannot withstand the building, the weight of the building. And the EIA is rejected, and such buildings will not be put there. So we do have a toxicology lab, and what we do basically is we take samples of chemicals, water, food and beverages, and we want to check if it is safe for human consumption. We then harvest some of these fingerlings, put them in a container, and drop a measured amount of that substance. If it harms these fingerlings, then it has not passed our toxicology test. Part of our requirement for having ISO certification is clean energy that powered this whole lab. We tend to burn less fossil fuels. We hardly use our generators.
Wastewater lab. Here we do a test for the pollution, the concentration of pollution that you have in water coming from facilities. By facilities, I'm talking about industries. These waters have gone through processes. That's processed water. So we want to find out, okay, what do they contain? Do they meet up with standards that is expected to go into the receiving water bodies? Yeah, like Odoyalaro and the river in Lagos. Because that's the water that some people only use on.
So I will add to that.
So
There's
actually,
something
that
called
actually reminds me of Barua community.
Oh,
Their water
Barua.
is polluted. I've done several special reports in Barua.
Barua is
12, and I also visited last year.
Is
And
a
the story is still
it's a
same.
pathetic
So what
case.
is LASEPA doing if you have this kind of a laboratory?
It's
to take care of it?
confirmed that the water there is polluted by hydrocarbons.
Good.
It's a pathetic case. There's something called the aquifer, the water under the soil, what we dig to get borehole. At a certain time, pipelines containing hydrocarbons,
Yes.
fuels and petrol leaked into the aquifer. This is a responsibility of the federal government. However, we cannot say because it's a responsibility of the federal government, we in Lagos State will fold our arms. Even the Water Regulatory Commission under our parent ministry and Lagos State Water Works have found a way to bypass that pollution and make tankers and potable water available to the people of Barua. To do that remediation, we would have to clear Barua, pump out everything under the soil, and clean it
That's a
and
whole
put
lot.
it back.
That's a
Yes.
whole lot.
And until we can find an alternative
doesn't look
space.
possible.
It is possible. However, you do not relocate people that you want to help them It is a strategic long-term plan.
Thank you so much for coming up on Inside Lagos, Dr. Dolapo Fashawe, the MD LASEPA.
It's been a pleasure.
For a good job done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. A healthy environment means a healthy community. It reduces the risk of diseases. So let's take care of our environment so that our environment can take care of us. And that does it on today's episode of Inside Lagos. Many thanks for being a part of it. I'm Adedoja. Salam Adini.